From the Middle is proud to be a founding member of the Odd Pods Media Network. Ladies and gentlemen, the following podcast is scheduled for one episode of From the Middle. Episode number 134, brought to you by your favorite superstars, a three-way team, Corey Hubble, Dylan Hubble, and Kendall Hubble. In this episode, we talk about shrimp cocktail. We talk about Christmas, our recaps, our days, our gifts, how fun things were. We talk a little bit about Kwanzaa and ask and answer some social questions there. And then after the break, we try to figure out what the heck Gen Z is saying. And then we share what we're streaming. We hope you enjoy it.
Oh, for the love. Sorry, just clearing my Mountain Dew hole.
I got my phone hole cleaned today.
That's where you keep it?
You're so cerebral and you're so developed and evolved. From the Middle after dark over here.
Look, if you really want to know how my Christmas weekend was, I was swimming in Midwest surf and turf all weekend. And if you don't know what that is, that's cocktail shrimp and cocktail sausages, baby. Just mouthful. It can be any combination. Midwest surf and turf can be beef and beef. It can be beef and lobster or shrimp. It can be pig in there. It doesn't matter. Beef and pig. It doesn't. Any combination. But for me, this time, cocktail shrimp and cocktail sausages, baby. It was delicious.
The cocktail shrimp. I know that was meant to be a joke, but I'm going to double down on how awesome cocktail shrimp is. And it's been a revival for me the past couple of years. I have eaten more cocktail shrimp in the last 2 years than I have eaten my entire life. It's like my eyes have come alive, and the light that you shine can't be seen, baby. I can get it. Something kissed from a rose on a grave.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Nothing says it's the holidays or a special
occasion
occasion like that plastic half circle full of cocktail shrimp.
Look, it's win-win. You get meat. It's leaner. It's healthier than other things you could be eating. It's filling. It's delicious. The cocktail sauce, it's got a little bit of the bite to it. Gosh, it's so good. I could eat it for days.
It makes some people's faces explode. It's that good.
Yeah. Or other parts explode, but it's fine because it's delicious and you just keep eating away. And with that, I think we've been recording. So welcome, everybody. Hope that you had a nice Christmas as well.
I ate so much. I broke a fast little challenge thing that I had with my wife and kids. The reward of which was going to be my Christmas gift, the Lego Millennium Falcon. And so I had like a 7-week challenge.
Hold up.
Yeah.
Hold up. Not just the Lego Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
The UCS Millennium Falcon.
Yes, the Ultimate Collector Series, big, super fancy Millennium Falcon. I was on a 7-week challenge that started as a fun family conversation around the dinner table about there was a lot of leftover Halloween candy laying around, and I said something like, "It's not even a challenge for me to not eat candy. I could not eat candy for a long time." And then we just kept upping it and upping it and upping it. And my wife's version of the story is different, but I thought it went something like, well, you know what you couldn't do without. And then she rattles off a handful of things that I enjoy from time to time. And so we made it a challenge of me not doing those things. And then the reward would be that. And so anyway, I didn't want to talk about the Falcon yet. We'll get there. But Christmas Day was when I could break the challenge and go back to normal consumption. And so at 11:59 on Christmas Eve, I ran out to my fridge and grabbed myself a Mountain Dew and chugged it just about as fast as you can imagine. But yes, that began what was 2 full days of not caring at all what I ate. Oh boy. And I am paying.
How was that?
My body doesn't know what to do. It's like you were doing.
Are you happy with me, or are you really, really mad at me?
To give people an idea, even just from the drink side, you were only having like water, tea, and coffee, and you couldn't do like any frou-frou Starbucks coffee, like just very plain. So even that alone, even if you were eating normal, that alone, not tons of sugar in drinks or would already be a big deal. And then I also knew you weren't going out to eat and you weren't doing a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, I had to break from a lot of things. Only water, only coffee with just a bit of creamer, no sugar, and only hot tea with no sugar. No restaurant food whatsoever. No runs to Starbucks. Nothing. Just unless it was a family thing, I could still do family outings to like a restaurant. But yeah, I cut all that out. No adult beverages. Nothing since November 7th. Anyway, but yes, on Christmas Day, I got to enjoy, and it was fun. I can't wait to talk to you guys about your Christmases and how things went for you and your families. There's a lot to get into.
Yeah. Somebody asked me, I was texting my buddy Brad. We have done some tangents episodes with him on our YouTube channel. You can check that out. He was asking me what I got. His birthday is also Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So I know he usually gets loaded up this time of year with cool stuff. For one of the things that we bought that you guys knew about was unexpectedly a new car to us. We hadn't been able to record in studio for a couple weeks because we were sorting some stuff out. So that was a Christmas gift. My only disappointment was that they didn't throw in the giant bow that I could put on it.
Yeah. That question was immediately in my mind. I was ready to go with it.
I was ready to put it on the hood and even dangerously drive home because I couldn't see through the bow just to make sure I got the bow. And I didn't know if it was going to be like a magnet or like taped under the hood and then what kind of tape to use, but it didn't matter. But no bow. No,
I've always fantasized about doing that for someone, getting them their dream car with a giant red bow on it. The commercials make it look like it's just really easy.
Yeah. And to be clear, my wife was in on the decision because this is the car she would drive more often, if just she was out. But I did see somebody commented on one of those commercials, the car commercials where somebody surprises somebody with a new car. And the top comment was like, what kind of psychopath goes out at Christmas and buys a car for their significant other without any input from them as to what they want or don't want, which I thought was hilarious. So that was our big unexpected gift. And it was nice. Among some other things, you had some Lego news. I don't quite yet, but there was a very nice Lego gift card waiting for me with the Marvel Daily Bugle building unofficially stamped on that gift card. So that's going to be coming once it's back in stock. And if you like these kind of things, I'm sure we'll post them on our Instagram channel. Some of these silly things that we've gotten and are excited about. But those were a couple of things. My kiddo was sort of a zombie Christmas morning until she started waking up and realizing that she had new toys to play with that she had just opened. But we had a ton of fun, lots of playtime all weekend. How about you guys?
Kendall, you go, man. Yeah. How was the Ayla Christmas?
It was really good. So for me personally, it was, I've talked about the Nintendo Switch was sort of like my big thing, the family Switch, so to speak. And so I wasn't expecting a whole lot. My wife and I each individually took each individual kid out for them to do Christmas shopping for the family. And so we made sure everybody had a gift from each person. So I did get a couple of things, one of which is a backpack tackle box that is pretty dope. So I'm super excited about that, because when I take my kids fishing, I'm carrying a tackle box and like 5 fishing poles. So that'll make life a lot easier there. So one of my kids got that for me, and then I got socks and stuff, which are, I mean, they're nice wool socks. They're comfy.
I gotta ask, if for anyone who's not listened, you basically went from not having fished in like 10 years, to fishing a bunch this summer with your kids because they're now old enough, to go fishing. If we had told you 8 months ago that you were going to be getting a tackle box backpack because you'd be fishing a ton more, would your head have exploded?
If you were prophesying, I would have been super excited. But no, I would have been like, when am I going to go fishing? or that would have served as the catalyst to get me into it anyway. Because I would have, the way my mind works, I'm like, oh man, I got to get up to speed before I get this backpack. So that's the way my mind works in those situations.
I'm interested in its organization method. So does it have like the plastic trays that slide out, or is it? How does it?
Yeah. So the plastic little tackle boxes that are pretty universal. They come in just like a few different sizes, but a bunch of companies make them. I use those. Yeah. And so then it's just a matter of like, what's the actual satchel that you're putting those in?
Okay. Yeah.
So do you guys want to see it?
Yeah. Yeah. Whip it out.
Is that okay? Let me grab it here. Talk amongst yourselves.
I was going to say, we can share screen on it too, if you tell Corey what kind it is.
Because I got one a few years ago that's maybe like the size of an average size cooler. The top lid opens up, and then there are individual trays that slide out. You can rearrange the order of those, and then they have the normal.
So I did have
Yeah.
I did have something like that, and it's been replaced with this guy. Get this guy out here.
Nice. Whoa, that's legit.
There she is.
Pliers and everything.
Sunglasses holder here. Yeah, that's a belt thing. It just hooks onto the Molly system there.
Nice.
We can do this
this is really good for the non-YouTube viewers and
it is
the listeners.
Imagine, for those people, imagine like a blacked out, like somebody like a prepper tactical backpack that's got like a bunch of things, and then what's normally the back little pouch is you just got to go to sub to our YouTube channel and then watch this video, because I'm not going to do it justice.
You filled her up already, man. That's awesome.
No, this is stuff I already had. I just moved it from one bag to a different one.
Yeah.
This one, Anyway.
It does look very tactical.
It's Samurai Tactical, which they make tactical backpacks. It's what they make. They just happened to make a fishing one.
Yeah.
For all you James Bond fishermen out there.
Yeah. The point of reference might be some of those backpacks that you have for your kids, where the big pouch in the back zips down, but then it opens up to the bag. That's kind of like a similar idea, to where you can like get into the big part of the bag from the pouch, but Kendall's got a bunch of like plastic trays of all kinds of fishing goodies. So that's super cool, dude.
So I get that. So for my kids, so this is what we were super excited about. Every time my wife goes a few times a year to a conference or something and gets on a plane and goes, the kids are always enamored by the fact that she's on an airplane. And we live like right next to the airport. And so like planes will go by, and if Amy's out of town on this trip, they'll be like, I wonder if that's Mama's plane. That kind of thing. And they've talked about how much they want to go. They want to see what a plane's like and that kind of thing. So what we did this year, we had Amy and I had a trip that we had to cancel back in 2019 due to COVID. And then so we had that money still in the bank with Southwest. And then we used credit card points and a couple of other perks, and we were able to get flight and hotel Monday through Friday next week already paid for.
Awesome.
So with all the kids, so we're heading out to Nashville, which is my favorite place on earth. and we're going to do Nashville for 5 days. So that was super cool. So that was their big gift. And then so what we physically had under the tree for them, we bought them like suitcases and Switch games,
Nice.
that kind of thing, and we wrapped them all up and we put signs on them that told them that we're flying to Nashville in 10 days. And so
How
that
exciting.
was the big gift. Yeah.
Good for you guys. Any big plans while you're there? Restaurants you want to check out? Just be there and enjoy.
Just be there and enjoy. I mean, there's a couple foodie things that we think will be fun with the kids. There's like there's a make your own pancake restaurant where they like make, it's kind of like what's it called? The Japanese, not hibachi, but where they cook in front of you. Benihana.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the pancake version of that.
Nice.
So I think we're probably going to do that with the kids. That'd be fun.
We're going to need pictures of that for Instagram. Also, when you were doing the math on the translation of the miles and the bank thing, in my head, 2 people's canceled trip translated out to 5 was going to mean you weren't going as far. So I was waiting for like a kids, we're going to Pittsburgh. So I'm glad you get to go to Nashville. I know that you love that, and you get to try food because I'll be excited to talk about that part.
Yeah.
And then they'll actually have a little bit of a plane ride to play their Switch games. That'll be tons of fun. I'm looking forward to it for them.
Yeah. They're stoked about it. They keep talking. They like walk around the house with their backpacks now.
That's
like
adorable.
They've been packing since Christmas Day.
Well, you have been too. Yours is just fishing gear.
I should bring fishing gear. I should check out the Tennessee fishing scene.
There you go.
See if they have a 1 day. See if Ohio has like 1 day licenses. I wonder if Tennessee does that.
I can tell you that they do because I have done that before.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, there you go.
Yep. You can do that. You can do like 1 day, 3 day, or 10-day fishing licenses. So,
yeah.
Either that or Kendall's going to be at the hotel pool, like casting into the deep end.
Just practicing.
I just wanted to bring my new bag.
I want to see what my action's like, and the water's clear. So
that's awesome. Yeah, we had a relaxed day at home. We've talked about before how in years past we would try to do the rounds and go to like 3 Christmases in a day, and we were like, that's kind of for the birds if you can help it. So we just stayed home, and the door's always open to anyone that wants to come and join us and partake in the festivities and the food and the fun. But we just had a relaxing day at home. And I mentioned, or before we recorded, I had like, you have like a handful of gifts maybe for each kid, and there's like one that you're really excited about for them to get. For Lily, it was a pair of Jordans that I acquired through a reseller site. For Chloe,
nice.
her mom had gotten her. Chloe has decided to take baton lessons with a group, as well as private baton lessons from the proprietor of that business. And so she got a custom baton case with her name on it, and a jacket for Angels High Steppers is the name of her group. So it's got her name on the front. So she's all excited about that. And then Case Man, he got a Lego City set featuring the new modular Lego roads. So this is like a big deal in the Lego community. They used to just be on the plastic plates with the studs, and it was painted where the road was. But Lego has started a new road system where it's basically a square of roadway, and then the lines on the middle can be changed which direction their individual lines facing one of 2 directions, north or south and east or west. And you can connect them all together, which also connects to all the modular sets. So for the people that want to build like a massive Lego city, you now have a way to have really cool road plates that connect better to some of the sets. So that's pretty cool. And then, and then Sherry, I had a handful of things. She really wanted to get the interiors detailed. So I called a place and got her some gift certificates to that, to have that done. I normally do it myself, but this guy does like a shampooing and a high pressure steam clean and like Q-tips in every crack and nook and cranny. And she was like super excited about that. So we got that done. And then I put the Falcon together for the rest of the day. So. Good times.
That's awesome.
Good times were had by all. Watched movies.
I have something I want to. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say we watched movies, had a good time, which, by the way, real quick, Encanto, the Disney animation movie, I had no desire to see this movie. I just, for whatever reason, the trailer didn't really tug at me in any way, but Sherry and Case had seen it. Sherry had taken him out for his birthday to watch it. And you guys, I cried twice during it was so beautiful. And I texted you that day and said, hey, if you're just sitting at home with nothing to do and looking for a family movie, Encanto is great. Lin-Manuel Miranda did the music. And it's just a Colombian family, so it's a different culture. Just so anybody's looking for a family movie recommendation before your holiday break is up, check it out.
I do plan on, I haven't watched it yet, but it is up here. I'm gonna at some point check that out. So there's something that happened the day after Christmas that I'm kind of slow walking in because I don't want to open any cans of worms of controversy, but like it's something that happened and I legitimately just don't know. So my wife went for a walk with two of our kids, and on their way back from the park that they went to, there's a family also going for a walk, I think on like the other side of the street. And they had apparently just got finished up with some kind of a festive celebration of their own. There's a little boy who has some kind of car that he's playing with. And my son yells over, hey, nice car. And then my 5-year-old daughter, it's an African-American family. My 5-year-old daughter yells over, happy Kwanzaa. and my wife's initial reaction was like, I don't know what to do. Was that bad? Was that rude somehow? Is that like, what if they don't celebrate? But I mean, you can't. So was that, my daughter wasn't like, I'm sure that she had learned about Kwanzaa at school and was aware of it. And I think that my daughter, she saw an African-American family and thought to herself, I should wish them happy Kwanzaa. Is that a good thing that my daughter did? Or is it not?
Go ahead, Dylan.
I'm going to submit generally yes, because this came up. So I worked a long time in retail and service and sales positions and whatever. Uh-huh. So what you're supposed to say, not supposed to say, allowed to say, whatever, it kind of is a tiring thing. And it's not that, I understand people have their specific holidays and they're very proud of their heritage and culture and whatever. And so you might wish them the wrong thing. But my opinion is always, if the intent is a well wish, then you shouldn't be offended. It's also okay to correct somebody. So, they could have just as easily said, thanks, but we celebrate Christmas. Merry Christmas. And they could have left it at that. But I got to the point where I pretty much just say, I decided for myself, I'm just going to say what I celebrate and then say, and happy holidays after. So now I always just say Merry Christmas and happy holidays. If it's like in an email for work or sign off on social media, because it's ultimately a well wish.
There's an episode of Parks and Rec where Amy Poehler her character is handing out Christmas gifts to people that she doesn't know that well, and she like goes to like somebody. She goes to pull out like she's guessing like a menorah, some decoration with a menorah on it, with a face that's kind of like this one, and then the person shakes their head no, so she puts it back and gives her like a Christmas card. And I felt like this was that kind of.
All I'm picturing is that family just like slow, like really, when your daughter said that, they quickly looked over at her and then they just slowly turned their heads back to straight and were like, this is a really peculiar neighborhood.
One more reason that makes our neighborhood so interesting.
I mean, they have to appreciate that she was at least trying to, in her own brain, be culturally sensitive. And I think that's beautiful. And if it was in a, like Dylan said, in a well-wishing sort of way, that's awesome.
And she's 5 years old and not only knows that Kwanzaa is a thing, but knows that it started on that day.
There you go. Well, what was their reaction?
I asked my wife and she said it happened so quickly. They were far enough away that they could have, they said, they just kind of said, hey, thanks, and kept walking. There was no surprise look on their face or anything like that. So they could have just been responding to my son saying, hey, nice car.
Right.
So unfortunately, we don't have a good answer to that.
We're going to need a larger sample size without the car thing. So you're going to have to take them to the mall and start wishing everyone happy Kwanzaa and just see the reaction that they get. I mean, would either of you care if somebody just instinctively said like happy Hanukkah and then walked away?
No. And that's the thing. That's like kind of one of the pet peeves that you don't bring up in mixed company, but is like, I don't understand people getting upset by Merry Christmas or by anything like that. Because like you just said, a Jewish person wishes me happy Hanukkah. I'm going to say, thanks, happy Hanukkah to you too. Like, that's going to be my answer. Like, I don't understand getting upset about that. But alternatively, because like you said, if it's a well wish, it's a well wish.
Yeah, I mean, if you cut them off and then it's accompanied by the bird, then maybe it's not a well wish that time.
Sure.
But like, you could also just throw out the Happy Festivus and just go straight Seinfeld on all of it, because then you're just going with a made up holiday anyways, and it doesn't matter. So,
sure,
there's always that option.
Well, that's fun. I'm glad each of us had a really good Christmas and Kwanzaa and Hanukkah, and we'll just call this the Kwanzaa recap episode, and that's just fine with me. So the way that we began 2020, our first full episode of 2020, way back in episode 32, was to review some slang from the year prior, 2019. And we had a really fun, I thought, conversation around three middle-aged white dudes trying to make sense of slang terms from 2019. And it was quite comical. So maybe after the break, I have a game for you guys, and I invite everyone in your cars or wherever you're listening from to play along. We're going to do Gen Z slang trivia to see which terms you guys have heard before and what you think it means. That might be the funnier part, what you think it means. And then I'll provide an actual example for these terms. So in an effort to better understand the TikTok generation, the Gen Z generation, one that I sometimes struggle with, or at least their representatives on the internets, I thought we could play a quick game after a word from one of our friends in the Odd Pods Media Network.
Welcome everybody to the Potaskew Podcast. I am...
Whoa, dude. No. This is our promo, not the show. I'm Rico.
Oh, sorry. I'm CJ, and we're the hosts of the Potaskew Podcast.
We're fans of pretty much anything and everything pop culture, including movies, TV shows, books, video games, comics, music, and of course, Kevin Smith. Now, while we do keep our fingers on the pulse of Silent Bob, he certainly doesn't need our help in promoting him.
You got that right. We do our own thing, with inspiration from the man himself and his mantra of why not. We've got stories about celebrities, we've interviewed theories of our own for certain movies, and we can usually tend to have a great debate about anything.
We also do commentaries on movies. Sometimes we ask our fans what they want to watch with us. So if you love the timbre of our vocal cords and want to watch a movie at the same time, give us a listen.
Stay tuned every Monday. There's always something new. And if you've been good this year, we may even give you a bonus episode from time to time.
So please be good and subscribe to and enjoy Pod Askew, founding member of the Odd Pods Media Network.
So he really liked the floppy fries, the soggy kind of floppy-ish ones, and all I like to do is suck the salt off of fries. So we made great roommates.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, we're back.
I heard a similar story about people who one liked dark chocolate and the other liked almonds, and they were a match made in heaven. So,
Corey, you did a really nice recap of what we're about to do, but I did want to throw out there, if anyone was wondering, hey, why did Corey say they did a recap of slang in, at the beginning of 2021 for 2019? And that was 100 episodes ago. In case it wasn't obvious, we didn't really want to go back and talk about 2020. So that's why, if you're wondering, we skipped this a year ago and we're doing it now, but we'll likely do it again next year, because the world's getting better and brighter every day. So, but let's go back to, you're going to give us back to the rules. So you're going to give us the slang.
Yes.
Okay.
So here's the premise. This is a USA Today article, and the introduction is as follows. With the rise of the social media app TikTok, no generation has popularized lingo like Generation Z. TikTok has become the go-to place for influencers, and the language used on the platform consistently goes viral, including the term, and I'm going to give you a freebie, cheugy, a way Gen Z makes fun of out-of-date millennial trends. So we'll give you the full definition of cheugy later. So I'm just going to say the word. I'm just going to say the word or the phrase. You're going to tell me what you think it means. And then I'll give you the actual definition or an example. So here's the first one that I said, cheugy. It describes millennials who are trying too hard to be trendy or in style. So the example would be, did you see that older girl?
This podcast.
Yeah. Did you, or wearing Jordans? Did you see that older girl trying to do that TikTok dance? She's so cheugy. All right.
Wow. Can I just say though, when I've read these lists and they've applied to my generation, I feel like almost half the list I go, that's not what it means.
Right.
So what I'm hoping happens is they think they have it right. We start weighing in and we're wrong and they're wrong on most of them.
Yeah.
And then the actual Gen Zs can just come in and laugh at us.
All right. First one, no cap. No cap or no capping.
No capping?
Yeah, that's don't cap locks me. Don't put me on cap locks and yell at me via text. That's what that one means.
I like that one. I like to think that means chill out.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Oh, that was a very Michael Scott answer. Cap is another word for lie. So saying no cap means that you aren't lying. Or if you say someone is capping, then you're saying they're lying. Example, I'm actually going to be productive today. No cap. You actually got tickets to the Bad Bunny concert? You're capping. So that's
weird. It feels like lying's just easier.
Does it give a story as to, because it's a word that means other things? You can't just decide that words mean different things.
The introduction to the article said, it's also worth noting that even though TikTok has brought these terms to more audiences, they're not new slang. In fact, many of their origins are actually much older. Yeah, I'm not going to read that next part based on the quantity.
I mean,
okay.
If anybody really wants to know, have an adult grown-up present, but you can check out Urban Dictionary if you really want to try to figure some of these out.
It's true.
That's
done it.
If Gen Z even uses that website anymore, maybe there's a better one.
I can't keep up with texting with you two.
That's fair. Yeah.
You guys are overthinking this, okay?
I'm sure we're not.
All right, here's the next one. Bop.
Bop?
Bop. B-O-P, bop.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, it's like Bop It, like the game, like you're playing games.
This isn't word association.
I'm sure. Flick it,
Um,
bop it, twist it.
I'm gonna
Put your thing down,
Gosh,
flip it, and
man.
reverse it.
flip.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that bop means I'm gonna leave.
Okay. It's when a song or album is really good. Example: have y'all heard "Castaway" from the Backyardigans? It's a bop.
It's
Come
a
on.
bop.
That's not a real slang term. Come on.
Or that song really bops.
You're
I
you're
can see
yanking my
that.
bop it chain.
I can see it as a verb.
It's
Here's
a
a-
bop.
That song bops.
Kendall
here's a
struggles
bad-
with it as a noun.
Here's a bad Christmas story while we're playing this game. Young family member gets a small robot that like talks and sings and dances, and he names the robot Popcorn. And I said, "Do you think he's gonna popcorn lock and drop it?" And he didn't care. He didn't understand or care for that. So I tried.
Oh,
Right.
But is that pop, lock, and drop? Is that a millennial thing? Or and I think it's a millennial thing, not a
I
Gen
think
Z
so.
thing.
Or a Gen X. That might be Gen X or millennial.
Yeah.
all
I was
right.
trying to relate.
Next one, drip.
Looks super good.
Like super bougie.
Yeah, like something's like 2 years ago was fire, right?
Yeah.
So like it's like swag, looks good, well put together.
Nice, Dylan. A cool, sexy, or trendy sense of style. Another way of saying swag. When someone has good drip, people will hype them up by having them do a drip check, which is showing off your outfit. Example: hey, my dude, you have some serious drip. Drip check.
So like fashion show at lunch. That's just like now that one is efficient. That's much shorter than the office.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Oh,
Someone told me I'm dripping. I'm gonna do two things. I'm gonna zip up my pants and I'm gonna comb out my beard. Those are the only two bases I would be able to come up with in that circumstance.
So I pulled this article weeks and weeks ago. And the night we went to see Jim Gaffigan at Nationwide Arena, I wore what I thought was like a cool-ish outfit with my new Jordan prototypes. When we're going back to our car, we get in the elevator for the parking garage, and this young couple, maybe mid-20s, gets onto the elevator. They're beautiful. They're very fashion forward, and their outfit is awesome. They happen to be African American, which is relevant to the story. So I remember I've read this article. So they walk on, and I go, "Whoa, drip check!" And my family, Sherry, and the family members I was with, look at me like, "What are you even saying right now?" And I go, "Your threads are looking fresh." It's so cringy. And they were very polite and tried hard not to cringe. But then she goes, "And I'm digging your kicks." And I go, "Yes." It meant so much more coming from them that they recognized my J's. It was awesome. All right. I'm just such a tryhard. It's annoying. Okay, next one. Sheesh.
That
feels like a trap.
Yeah, this feels like sheesh, like ugh, like
They like to drag it out and go sheesh.
that's okay. It's trickier.
Like you would go sheesh.
Like is that the oh snap? Is that the equivalent exclamation of surprise?
You have halitosis.
Used to hype someone up when they look good or do something good, like saying, "Damn." The person getting hyped up uses the ice in my veins pose made famous by basketball player D'Angelo Russell. So the example would be seeing your friend walk down the aisle at their wedding.
Yeah, it's like, oh, snap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Context clues.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Next one. Bet.
What was that noise?
Bet.
Are you saying bet? Like place a bet?
BET bet.
Like put money on it. Like I'd bet on that, or it's gonna happen, or something like that.
Word. I'm with Dylan.
It just means yes, can be said as a question to ask if someone wants to do something or to confirm. Example, want to go get some boba? Bet.
Yeah. I got
you
that
bet.
one.
Okay.
Someone could say that to me like yesterday, and I would have understood immediately.
Yeah. That one makes sense.
I got that one.
All right, we did this one last year. DED, dead. Something so funny that it killed you. And
yeah, we know where that one comes from. Robin Hood, Men in Tights. Thank you. Next one.
Yeah. Stan.
STAN.
STAN. Stan.
Yeah, this is I don't Stan.
I've seen a lot of this one on the internet, Reddit, places like that. When you're a very big fan of someone famous, also used when someone does something seen as morally nice and you are giving your approval. Examples. My brother loves Megan Thee Stallion. He's a stan. Sees video of a guy named Jesse buy his mom a new car. I stan Jesse. So it's like it's almost like you stick up for them to a flat, like me and Crystalia. So I'm a stan for Crystalia.
So they take a D off. If it were stand, I feel like that would make sense. And then they just kind of like they take you bet and just take you off one letter. They take stand, take one letter off to make it stan.
Whatever helps you, man.
That helps me. I'm learning.
All right, next one. Hits different.
Oh, feels different or feels bigger. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like people use that a lot in regards to nostalgia. Like, oh yeah, that album hits different than it used to, or but yeah, it's like feels different. It's not the same as it once was. I think it could be used positively or negatively.
Yeah.
Like it's better now or it's worse now.
Typically when it's good. So when something is so uniquely good or better than it used to be. Example, this new Olivia Rodrigo album hits different.
Oh, it could just be something is so unique, not necessarily in comparison to itself. It could be in comparison to other things.
I think so.
Sure.
I'm learning too.
Yeah. Well, this episode hits different.
This one's an acronym. IYKYK.
If you know, you know.
Yep.
I did.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. This one's kind of dumb. Living rent free.
Parents living with your parents.
Now, is this in regards to the some kind of feud, Jeff Bezos is letting Elon Musk live rent free, about him and frustrated by him. You know what I mean? Like you're putting too much thought into another person who's getting under your skin. They're living
right.
Very close. When you can't stop thinking about something, also used as an insult when someone is upset about something. Examples: that song lives rent free in my head, or he hates LeBron James so much he lives rent free inside his head.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Nice.
Right. Good work, Dylan. You're quick.
Period with a T at the end. Period.
Is that an attempt to just end the conversation?
Period.
It's like yeah.
I saw Martin Lawrence in your face when you did that.
Period.
I see it too.
Add emphasis to a point made. Example. Beyonce gave us the greatest performance in music history, period.
Yeah. So
All right.
yeah, it's like using period to add emphasis, but then you need to add even more emphasis. And so again, it's the one letter off thing. They change a letter in this case.
So are you telling
I'm
me
starting to
it's
get-
actually you could write the word period and then put a T at the end and then an actual period?
Yes.
Yes.
I could use it that way. Like Michael Bublé is the greatest Christmas musician ever, period. Word period, T period.
This goes back to that thing about like they're saying things that are typically in text in out loud, because there's a bunch on here that are emojis. We're not going to get into those because obviously you have to see them to but
Sure.
yeah, it's like you're
YouTube
just
exclusive.
you're saying the thing out. Yeah.
Okay.
Simp.
Like the basic version of something, right? Like the simple or the most basic. That was my
Someone could be called a simp.
simpleton.
No, I'm not thinking simpleton. I'm thinking basic.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I could be wrong, but if somebody says somebody is simple, like they're like a noob or entry level, or I don't know. That's what comes to mind.
I'm thinking more along the lines of like you fit every stereotype. It's like basic white girl, basic white guy.
So you're onto the fact that it's derogatory, but it's different. When someone publicly pours their heart out for someone, whether they know the person or not, or goes above and beyond for their significant other. Example, did you see his Instagram post about how much he loves his girlfriend? He's such a simp. Now, this one gets squirrely because I've heard this compared to like the stereotypical macho guy versus a guy who's in the friend zone and is trying to gain that girl's affection by like buying her things and going above and beyond. He'd be the simp to her because he's just trying to get her affection by other means. So that's typically how I've seen it used. Somebody even said like a single mom, and there's like the dweeby guy who's like giving her money and taking her out to dinner all the time, but she has no interest in this new guy whatsoever. He would be a simp, or he'd be simping.
Great.
What about like the would it apply at all for like those people who like their favorite musician of all time, the most impactful musician of their life of all time is whichever one died most recently? Like we all know those people. Yeah. Every time someone famous dies, all of a sudden like they were fan number one.
That feels like Stan too. Like that feels like it's blending into the Stan thing. Like you're just a loyalist of that person.
No, I think they're faking to be a Stan.
Yeah.
Repetitively.
Man, we might need help from some of the listeners on this one. The younger listeners. Do we have younger listeners?
Does Gen Z have a word for what I just described?
It's probably just spelled slightly different than
we're not translating to Russian. This should be easier than that.
Yeah, Russian would be easier. I speak more Russian than I do Gen Z, apparently.
I'm just trying to help.
And the only Russian I know is Spanish.
I'm just trying to help the three of us understand
we're going to be better prepared for 2022. I'll tell you that.
We don't have to get into it, but I was going to bring up to talk about as a topic later. I'm not going to now because I've done some research since this picture Joe Rogan posted the other day about a cycle that is like weak men create hard times, but hard times create strong men, and strong men create good times, and good times create weak men. And it keeps going on over and over. And this has been since the beginning of time and history, and that people get offended because they think Joe Rogan's saying that today is the day of weak men, and that's why all the hard times. But then that just goes back to like every generation thinks the one behind them is the worst, and millennials had no ambition. So we're not doing that, but we're trying to understand each other better.
There's actually a version of that has been popularized within the past couple of years that I've heard about. the first time I heard that concept, it wasn't used for just men, but it was pretty much spot on the same concept. It was used at like a business conference kind of setting.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it means like the global term of men, like just for people, mankind. But yeah,
right.
People were like, Joe Rogan has clearly gone even more conservative, thinking he's blah, 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 blah. Okay. Vibe check.
Check like the temperature of the room. Like, how's everybody doing? Especially if you're at a party, like how's the party going? People having a good time? Or vibe check. And it would work in a business setting too, right? Vibe check during a meeting. How's everyone doing? Is this productive?
Just because I want to say something different, I'm going to say it means stop being creepy.
Yeah.
It's a little.
I sound confident. I could be 100% wrong on this.
I think you're both right. Checking someone's energy or personality can be a permanent thing or just based on something someone does. So it's kind of like a pass, no pass situation. I love hanging out with them. They totally pass the vibe check. Or that dude yelled at the server. He doesn't pass the vibe check. But you could also just say vibe check, like everybody good? We all good here? Cool.
Yeah, I'd be using it wrong. I don't want to look like an idiot.
Well, you guys are like, you guys did pretty good. Let's give you a 10%, maybe 20%. I feel.
Yeah, that's generous, man.
Yeah, you're welcome.
What was that very first one that you said again?
Chugi.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't even know if I'm saying it right. It's CHEUGY.
See.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. When you said that one first, I just assumed that was for people who wanted more cinnamon on whatever they were eating, is what first came to mind. You know, if you've got like toast, and you're like chuggy, it's just more cinnamon. I had no idea what to do with it, so I just went with the noise. And conversely, the only other way it could be used differently is if you specifically are at Taco Bell, it just means more nacho cheese. That was the only other alternative.
So funny. It's like onomatopoeia over here. Whatever it sounds like, it probably is. Well, that was fun. And maybe forward that little segment to a friend who's trying to understand a Gen Z person in their life or is new to TikTok, and it'll really help them out.
Man, we're going to have to like listen to our kids like speak this stuff, and we'll learn then. We'll understand. We're trying to understand our children. We're trying to be ready so that we can talk with our kids and not seem like old fogies.
I was on TikTok for like 48 hours and I got right off. But I was like, I do not understand so much of what I'm seeing, what is happening here, these dances, the teenage boys with like the poofy poof, not the Justin Bieber. Not the Justin Bieber, like, but it's like poofy and big up front and shaved on the side, and they're doing like this thing with their lips. I'm like, what is, and they got the one earring, the guy from Wham, one cross earring, and I'm like, so much.
Well, that's back.
So
like
much
they can thank Gen X for that one.
Whew.
The hardest thing for me is
earring.
some of these videos pop up in links on other platforms and I'll click them. And I think the hardest thing for me is it's the same thing with another language. Like once you can master the comedy in another language, you know that you're really starting to understand it. And that to me is the generational thing too. Like you don't know what of those videos are meant to be serious and which ones are meant to be silly. And which ones are people like actually trying something and which are, so like you have when you don't know any of it, you have no context clues. You just pop on a video, and that was the same with Vine, right? Vine was just TikTok, 2 minutes earlier. But like, if you didn't know what was a joke and what wasn't, you don't even know how to react to the videos.
Yeah.
And so, because if I said to you, hey, there's going to be this trend where somebody starts a sea shanty and then the next person is going to add a part onto that sea shanty, and we're going to go like 20 people deep into sea shanties. 2 years ago, you would have for sure thought it was a joke and not meant to be absorbed as like actually good music that people were enjoying singing. It would have for sure felt like they're mocking all of it. but I'm not convinced that they were. And I think people were enjoying themselves. And so
I think that's why, like, I had that reaction to the Island Boys when that video that went viral of them in the pool, because I'm like, this looks like it was set up perfectly to be a triggering video to make people angry. And then I realized that they're serious. And then I was even more angry.
Right. One special little bit of humor that I normally reserve for you two is when we hop on these Zoom calls, you have the ability to edit your name. And most of the time I like to put in a silly name. This, and I don't know that I've ever shared, but this time my name was a specific reminder, and my name is Mr. Citrus Cedar. And it was a reminder because it was one of my Christmas gifts that I was excited about that I wanted to share with you. And that is from our friends at Artius Man. I got the Citrus Cedar like body set. And so this is like a body scrub, a lotion, and a body wash from our friends at Artius Man. And I tried it, and it is one of the most manly scents. It's what I imagine Nate Weber smells like when he's outside. If you don't know that reference, we had Nate Weber on from the History Channel series Alone, and imagine a very manly person. That's probably what he sweats. But for me, I don't get that scent naturally. I have to artificially put it on myself.
My sweat smells like shrimp cocktail.
Mine is like nacho cheese and shrimp cocktail. And this was it's a really nice set. I feel like it should be the national default for every Airbnb that's in the woods. Like if you own an Airbnb and you want to stock something in your Airbnb and it at all looks like a cabin or a lodge, you need the Citrus Cedar pack stock there. So I just wanted to share, because I don't have the thick beard that you guys do, that you get to try out this cool Artius Man stuff. But I was very excited that I got my Artius Man Citrus Cedar set. So I just wanted to pass that along.
How would the Middlers go about getting themselves a set if they were interested, Dylan?
Oh my goodness. I'm so glad you asked, because it completely slipped my
The way
mind.
you say that, how do the Middlers get a set? It sounds like you start by smelling like a man. That's how you start.
And I'm going to tell you, this is a very manly, mannish smell. So this is not for the faint at heart. Head to Artius Man, ARTIUS man.com. Load up your cart, get the Citrus Cedar body set if you want to smell like Nate Weber. Put in promo code The Middle. You'll save 25% off of your whole first order. And Corey referenced that Nate Weber episode. Really great episode. If you've ever watched the History Channel series Alone, that was 117. So you can check that out everywhere you listen to podcasts and on YouTube. But if you head to artiusman.com, use promo code The Middle, you'll save 25% off your first order. And get yourself the Citrus Cedar. Save it till your female loved ones are out of town, and save it for like the guys' weekend as like a special treat for yourself. You're going to love it. And then we also have some good friends at stellomints.com. I just got my 5-pack of peppermint not long ago. My wife immediately stole one. So I've still got a few tins left, but you can head to Stellomints. Is that stellomints.com? Or why am I thinking there's a .us? Stellomints.com. These are CBD mints with no THC, super discreet, awesome looking tin of mints you can throw in your coat, your bag, your pocket, your briefcase, your car, whatever. But if you really just want something to help take the edge off, you've all just experienced it through the holidays. If you hadn't bought any Stello yet, you wish that you had this thing that you didn't know existed until now. So head to stellomints.com, go ahead and order yourself some. Promo code The Middle is still good there, but it'll save you 10% off of every order. And if you happen to be on YouTube, all that information is in the About section. You can just go right there, see the company name, see the promo code, all that jazz. But a couple quick plugs, because I was very excited for my Citrus Cedar stuff, and I was very excited for my Stellomints to arrive recently. Super good stuff.
Speaking of plugs, are there any pieces of entertainment that are streaming out there that we want to mention before we wrap? I know I mentioned Encanto.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Streaming on Disney Plus for free. I thought they were going to do the premiere access thing for like 30 whatever dollars, and they didn't. It's free on Disney Plus. And it was just so beautifully done. I mentioned Lin-Manuel Miranda did the music. Sherry and I just watched the film Tick Tick Boom, directed by Lin-Manuel Miranda, about
Andrew Garfield.
Yes, Andrew Garfield may or may not be in the new Spider-Man. It's the story of Jonathan Larson, who wrote Rent. And it's kind of his life story blended really nicely with his second creation, Tick Tick Boom, a musical sort of about his own life. And it just really good performance by Andrew Garfield. The music is all Jonathan Larson's and Lin-Manuel Miranda. You could tell he was a great respecter of Larson's work because he really honored just musical theater and what his life was about. He had a lot of friends dying from AIDS in the 90s in New York City, and just the culture wasn't really aware of how to best handle that and care for people and blah, blah, blah. So just really, really well done. And then my last one is right before recording tonight, Sherry and I finished No Time to Die, the last Bond film. And wow. Just wow. Just
Is it streaming or did you buy it?
We went ahead and bought it. We did a Black Friday thing and got $75 worth of credits on Apple. So we just went ahead and bought it. But yeah, really good. Daniel Craig, man, he's a great Bond. He's a great Bond.
Well, the only thing that I'll say, and it feels ridiculous that I'm even saying this. So Hawkeye has wrapped up on Disney Plus already. By the time this episode drops, we're going to be getting the Book of Boba Fett, which if you didn't go watch Corey's episode of Tangents Boba Fett on our YouTube channel, that's a YouTube exclusive. Go subscribe to our channel and watch that video. That was a really great dive you did with your buddy Greg on like all kind of catching up on Boba Fett, and then the personal side of it for you, and then Boba Fett in general up to the Book of Fett where he's getting his own show. So as absurd as that is that we have these two shows, I didn't think that I would be saying after WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Loki, What If, I didn't think that these shows would get progressively better, but I'm pretty sure Hawkeye was my favorite of all the shows. I don't know if this is recency bias at this point, that it just happens to be the thing that I've watched. It was like Die Hard meets the MCU. Jeremy Renner was great. It was so good. Spoiler alert. I'm going to do that. Spoiler alert. If you haven't watched it yet, come back after you have. You should watch it. And then I had this moment where I'm watching the second to last episode, but probably both of them. And I'm having this moment where I'm realizing Hawkeye has his own TV show, part of the MCU. I just watched freaking Kingpin show back up as a villain from Netflix's Daredevil series. And this is only going to continue with more shows next year. And we're about to get Boba Fett like a week later in a new Star Wars series. And like, what a freaking great time to be a Star Wars and Marvel fan, because not only are we getting these shows, but these aren't like Ben Affleck, Daredevil, Edward Norton, Incredible Hulk level shows. These are like seriously good, interesting, well done shows, and I'm just having a blast. That's all I'm going to do on Hawkeye now, maybe more later, but it's so good. What a great miniseries for 6 episodes.
I'm going to say that Hawkeye is going to become a lot of people's answer to what's your favorite Christmas movie. And so I think it would have been fun if they would have just like titled the whole thing really campy, like Get Hawkeye Home for Christmas or something.
Yeah.
But our friends at Grief Burrito recently went over the debate of whether or not Die Hard is a Christmas movie. And I feel like over here in the States, at least with people that we talk about, like I remember when that was a debate, and I feel like it's been settled around here that Die Hard is in fact a Christmas movie. And I will fight anybody who says otherwise. And I think the same thing is going to happen with Hawkeye, that people are going to laugh and say, what's your favorite Christmas movie? Hawkeye. And then eventually it's going to become like a real answer for people.
Yeah,
I think it's that. I think it's going to be that good. And I think it could end up being like that mainstream that like every Christmas it's known that a lot of people are watching Hawkeye.
Is there any other Christmas series that's not like a singular film?
I don't know.
So there's the de facto winner. There's nothing else that I can watch multiple episodes of that would be considered Christmas content. There it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I can watch 3 different Grinch movies that tell the same story 3 different times.
Right.
But like, that's not multiple episodes of content. You can watch like the holiday, like the English holiday baking cook-off show. That's the Christmas edition. But like, Hawkeye is, you're going to say, I'll tell you what my favorite Christmas TV series is, and it's Hawkeye. And I think that's totally valid.
Well, we loved it. We made it a family activity, and it was fun for all ages. And yeah, super, super well done. While we're on the topic of Marvel, I have to mention, I know I mentioned in last week's episode that I had seen Spider-Man No Way Home. If you have watched it, please do yourself a favor. I'm going to recommend a YouTube channel that I've actually checked out multiple times. New Rockstars does a great job breaking down geek culture films. They do a ton of research and show you screenshots and clips of all the Easter eggs that are included, especially in Marvel franchise films that have tons of callbacks and layers of meaning from people who are comic book geeks, but also just cinephiles. The guy who hosts those videos said he's never done more. He's never had more reviews or things to include in a review than he did in No Way Home, because it harkens back and calls back so many things, some that are pretty significant and some that are just fun little, oh, that was cool, they threw that in. So don't watch it beforehand, but if you've seen No Way Home, go watch the New Rockstars video. We'll post the link. But it's just a breakdown with all the Easter eggs and details you missed from the movie. I'm a big Spider-Man fan, and I missed a ton on my first viewing. So I really recommend that for the Spider-Man fans out there.
And I feel like, all things COVID in the world, the fact that I haven't seen No Way Home is eating at me a little bit. However, good timing. Eternals will be on Disney Plus January 12th or 14th, something like that. So in the next couple weeks, I feel like we might even be able to do like a quick rewind episode here in the next month, where I want to get past the holidays, go see No Way Home, watch Eternals, and then do a little bit of a catch up on those two on maybe the back half of an episode where we can talk more, because I know you're a huge Spidey fan. It feels like we wouldn't be doing it justice. I missed Eternals in theater. We'd finally be able to watch that, and chat a little bit about those 2 movies. And then some of the stuff that's coming out in 2022, which is very exciting.
All right, gentlemen. Well, this has been fun catching up. We hope you all had a wonderful Christmas as well. Share a photo with us on socials, maybe of your favorite gift that you gave to someone or received. It would be cool to hear about that. Also check out our Facebook group, not the Facebook page, our Facebook group, From the Middle for the Middlers. There's a lot of fun conversation and memes and clips that get shared over there. It's a good time. About, I don't know, a couple hundred strong, 175, 200 strong. And it's fun. It's a fun conversation. So do check that out. We will catch you guys after the first of the year. Bye. Perfect.
Okay. I don't know.
That was great.
That was great.
Love the
It was weird,
WWE
is what it
spin
was.
there. That was nice.
Ain't nobody gonna catch that. There'll be two people who are
Hey.
like, "Oh, I see what he's doing. It's mildly funny."
They will really appreciate it for
They
those that
won't.
do.